Hey guys, so continuing with some more X-23, I want to talk more about her childhood. I did some in the last video about age 0 through 8 or 10-ish, but I'm going to continue from like 11 years and up. It's kind of some stuff she's been through and her training in comparison to also to Logan as well too. Now, when I speak in the terms of like father, like daughter, I don't mean in the literal sense, but Laura has been closely modeled after Wolverine and kind of brought up in his shadow, so to speak. Because with the Weapon X training, even she is given the identical training that he has been given. And they even have like a hologram of him in the simulation when she is trained, just to see how close her movement and her instinctive moves are to his from the pre-recorded data as well too from the Weapon X program. And for the most part, she holds her own. Like for every step that he takes, she takes. Like they're almost identical in combat. I think they're like either 8 or 9% difference as far as their moves, but for the most, it's like identical when they're battling in this simulation. Because they want her to have the identical results that Logan had. They want her to be pound for pound the fighter that he is, if not more. So in the meantime, while they're doing this training, they're watching closely Logan's results from his Weapon X training and comparing those with Laura's current stats to know where her weaknesses, where she needs to improve. And I like that they use the panels from like the early 90s as a reference. And they're showing like it's really the exact training. It really is like the same bears, the same wolves, and all the studies that they're looking at and comparing it to Laura's results and what she's facing in her training as well too. Because when we see the hologram, this is literally footage and data from the original comics we read in the 90s, which is pretty cool. And like at this point though in the training is where things start to get a little interesting because Laura starts to fall behind in places where Logan was succeeding. And when Sarah sees this happening, she freaks. And Xander, he really don't care. He kind of got a grudge anyway, so he's like, just turn it up and see what happens. Because at the end of the day, he could care less if Laura dies in this simulation either way. And most of that's due to his hatred for Wolverine personally, for being the cause of his father's death. But also observing this training there with Xander and Sarah, Martin is there. And on the flip side, he's more so concerned about results. Because while all of this is happening, she's begging, like, Laura's no good to you dead. Xander's like, hey, she's no good to me alive either. She fails. And that's where she turns the table. Laura turns the table by defeating this challenge with the one thing that makes her different from Logan, and it's the third claw being placed in her foot, which surprises the bear and defeats it, giving her a quicker finish time than Logan by like 3 minutes and 20 something seconds. And like, don't take me wrong, like that is no small feat by any means. But at the same time, I can't help but think about those those original panels where Logan, even though he was doing the same course, the exact same course, he had a much harder time doing it. That extra 3 minutes was because he was going through rigorous testing. Like all the data they have for X-23, they got from Logan. So they're able to skip that with her, and she's able to go into the training fresh. Versus Logan, he was exhausted going into this training. Not only that, but he didn't train in a facilitated room. He trained it outside, butt naked, in the snow, doing the exact same physical, vigorous trials or training right after being tested ruthlessly with all kind of cables and wires and probes sticking inside of him at the same time. So for me, it was much harder for Logan than it was for X-23 doing these trials. But at the same time, I guess you can also say that she was a lot younger, having to do this at 11 years old versus Logan was, physically probably around your, 20, mid 20s to 30 years old as far as his build, but literally he was probably closer to like your 70s as far as his actual age. But the story of the struggle of Sarah is a whole nother beast in itself. Like Xander sent Laura on a secret mission to kill Martin and his family, like his wife and his child, man. Like it's crazy. And he did that with just the sole intention to take over the program and have control of X-23. But when Sarah finds out, she's like, this dude's a monster. He's got to be stopped. So she actually sends X-23 over to get rid of him. And man, like, she goes to town on him. And like, while she's destroying him, like, she's having flashbacks of back when he wouldn't let her be sedated, when the adamantium was being bonded to her claws, and just all the dick moves that he made over the time. Like, he also set her up on missions to be killed, but she still came back alive. She's remembering all of this while she's destroying him. And she was also told to terminate the other prototypes after her, X-24 through like 50 something, and she did all of that. But somehow this dude Xander, man, he always got one more trick up his sleeve. He somehow slips on her the rage, the triggered serum, which puts her into a rage, because he knows she's gonna go back to Sarah at some point in time. And when she does return to Sarah, it triggers in, and she just goes ape shit on her. It's like, it's so sad. Because remember, this serum is triggered by touch, and as soon as it's in her system for that temporary moment, it's like she's blacked out. She doesn't know who's friend. She doesn't know who's foe. She's just in total kill mode for those brief few minutes, and it's just terrible, the outcome of it. And it's not until it's too late where Laura realizes what she's done. But in these final moments, with Sarah's dying breath, it's she gives her some very critical information for Laura to take with her. And before she passes, she gives Laura an envelope with different pictures of Charles Xavier, of Wolverine in the X Mansion, and information for her to go and find Logan. Pretty much for her to have a better understanding of who she is going forward. Alright guys, so I'm going to end it on that note for this one. If you guys want me to cover some more about the continuation of her story in search of Logan and her journey, just leave the comments below, let me know, and I'll do that. And if you guys have not seen the Logan movie, you have got to get your tickets and see that now. It is worth it. And don't be late for the movie. I will say that, because you're going to miss a nice little surprise in there. There's no post-credit scene, but there is a nice little pre-credit gift that Fox has for us. But that'll do it for this one. So if you guys like the video, hit that thumbs up. Check out some more of my videos on X-23, as well as my series on Infinity Wars and what'll be happening after. Also, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright, later.